So let's, okay, over here. Hello guys, good afternoon. So first of all, thank you very much, Edward and BDTA, to inviting me to do this presentation. I have 10 minutes. I will do my best to explain two main goals of this presentation. The first one, it's going to be parts of my career concerning research and exploring interoperability and also IFC in other contexts, oil and gas, energy, other domains. And then was a motivation to do a leadership that I'm doing right now in the Build Smart International, in the strategic working group for the new energy domain, okay? So that is the goal of this presentation. First, the motivation and parts of the research, and then the real application in a big oil and gas company that is generate this opportunity to get started a new domain in IFC5 and also Build Smart International. First of all, I'm just explaining, I know that everybody here knows about it, interoperability, but was very important at the beginning. We have a lot of edges, okay, concerning interoperability, and we need to integrate to do customizations. And if you do integration in that way, we need to do every single edge transactions, and it could be a messy. If we do, take a look, there are a lot of edges that we have over here. If we do a lot of transactions, customizations, we don't have, we have no time to do that properly, to apply, to put in practice interoperability. So I have an example over here concerning if we do integration, we have this math problem. We need to do a lot of transactions to know about the softwares, to customize the softwares. It was my master thesis a long time ago. And this problem, for example, from this part of the research, we can see the differences between integration in the right side, from your right side, and interoperability in the left side. If you use interoperability, which means, to be very clear with you guys, use a popular standard. Popular standard. If it's not popular, that is not a standard, okay? That's my perspective, okay, about it and experience. If we use, for example, IFC, that have over 3,000 softwares that's import and export, it'll be feasible, could be feasible, and other standards that we have nowadays in the industry. So in the right side, we have this example with some softwares from industrial plant constructions and industrial plant facilities. And in this case, we have 3 translations because some softwares have already compatibility with IFC. So there is no need to how, for example, as Flavio telling us today about the example using BSDD and also extending IFC and then putting inside in Blender with BSDD, we don't need to create a new translator, connector, this kind of things, okay? Interoperability, we need to have a pivot, and then we have less transactions or linear transactions, so much easy. And in the perspective of supply chains, that is the topic of the presentation, operations and supply chains, that was a motivation to the case study that we're going to present later on. We have the owner and then suppliers, and every single supplier have freedom to decide the best software or develop the software, doesn't matter. And that owner as well can use the software that what they want to use. And that is, for me, the most important, was part of my experience from 2015 until was my master thesis, PhD, and so on. And this research we applied in oil and gas company and your entire supply chain. What we applied in the entire supply chain? That is the architecture, for example, that we use in this case specifically just to explaining the storytelling until so far, okay? So we have the first layer, syntactic interoperability. Vocabularies is very necessary. We can talk too much about ontology. I really love ontologies, perfect, but we need to have vocabularies on syntactic interoperability, classes, attributes well-defined, okay, in the first layer, and then allow to reuse in the proper way ontologies. In this case, for example, is for a pump. And I'm very sure that in buildings, we have pumps like in oil and gas or other contexts. And it's an example of an ontology for pumps. And then in the second layer, we have a gateway, and we can use like connectors with softwares, like, for example, the first from the left side, we have a piece from a supplier that the owner received by IFC, extended IFC, and the second one, GIS and plus, BIM, with the entire interconnection of pipelines, dashboards, or digital processes. It's very important, digital processes, to orchestrate these environments. So that was, the architecture, and that is most important to show up right now. Pablo motivated me to show up this part of the presentation, because was the contract, for example, we did because I did my research, and then we create a group. I moved to Spain, and I'm at the University of Barcelona, but we create, as Flavio telling us today, a methodology, and this methodology was to create requirements, pretty easy, and then we did a proof of concept with some suppliers of oil and gas company, Petrobras, and Technip FMC, Baker Hughes, and a lot of companies, and I can talk the name of the companies, and Petrobras and other companies, but mainly Petrobras is a public information, puts in the contract these standards. So over 100 suppliers need to follow in these requirements based on IFC, the extension of IFC. That was my research job. And then now the suppliers need to follow in these requirements and these standards. And I have no time to, I don't know the video, how I can, thanks. I put a video over here. I don't know if after the presentation they will share it with you guys, but it's a demonstration of the real application of this standard. The real world application, the digital part, and then the real world application using IFC interoperability with Petrobras, Technip FMC, and Search Foundation. Okay? And I do consulting from the University of Barcelona to this context, Search Foundation, Petrobras, this kind of companies nowadays. And so the proof of concept and the contract was for flexible pipelines, just for flexible pipeline. And now it works, and then they want to do for other parts of the components of the assets, okay? So have like a marketing video over here and technological as well, part of the presentation with a blend and bring, okay? The same process that Flavio did the presentation, okay? I need to move forward, but it's IFC sent by the suppliers embedded everything in the same GIS beam, open beam model for flexible pipelines inside the SIA, 2,000 meters inside the SIA. Okay, so yeah, I have no time, so I need to move. Over here we have other examples. After have this information from the suppliers, okay, you can do like this. By colors, okay, I need to anticipate the wells to generate more oil, okay, more money to this kind of companies. So you can have status from the progressing and the operations visually by colors, because before we have a syntactic interoperability, and you can use ontologies, okay, to analyze in an intelligent manner the data. So very fast now. Based on this work, BuildSmart invited me to do the leadership of the new domain for energy. We got started in Marrakesh past year. We did another event in Singapore, and we defined so far this scope: upstream, downstream, energy and renewables, from carbon industry to circular economy industry, sustainability, practice, energy, sustainable energy, renewable, and this kind of things, respecting and trying to be or to have circular economy approach, 10 R's of circular economy, and from the entire life cycle. That is the process. I have no time to explain the entire process, but Flavio, the idea of Flavio now today was to present part of this process to achieve until the BSTD, and then prove in Blender or Bonsai software that it works. We did an extension for oil and gas to the IFC, and the objective of this group is extending IFC 5 for this specific domain. That it's going to be a model, a new model in IFC 5, okay? And create a steering committee. That is part of my job until Berlin, okay? We need to elect, from BSE members, policies, meet, organize these things, and we have so far this process, okay, to extend IFC, to adapt, to adjust for new domains, and then use BSTD like a data dictionary, that is the name, okay, to have a vocabulary and explore ontologies, intelligence, digital twins, to allow digital twins to get data, standardized data, and do the job, and get the job done. So the next steps to finish up this presentation is we have a roadmap. I would like to congratulate the team from Certis Foundation, Petrobras, BuildSmart, and the University of Barcelona. We are working together, and BDTA are motivating and do something together to move forward. And we have in the next 6 months, not 6 months anymore, sorry. We did a workshop in Singapore. Now we are trying to get some companies from these industries, like renewable energy, oil and gas. We talked with some oil and gas companies, renewable energy companies, and this kind of things. And the idea is to officialize this new energy domain, specifically to using this better IFC5, BSTD, and IDS in Berlin, the next summit of BuildSmart. And before, we're going to have a congress that Farzad are organizing in TU Delft to do a quite similar presentation, like a campaign to attract people to work together in this new domain that is very important, in my opinion, for IFC5, because it will be a new module in IFC5. If it works, it's going to be a group that we're going to decide about that it's important or not in IFC5 for energy. Thank you very much. Sorry about the delay, a little bit. Thank you.